Welcome to Spotlight on Frazee. I'm your host, Hank Ledke, and I'm down here today at the Frazee Event Center with Director Molly Zins from Central Region Sustainable Development Partnership. Boy, that's a mouthful, Molly.
It sure is. Hi, Hank. Thanks so much for having us. It's really a pleasure to be here. And as you mentioned, our name is a little long, University of Minnesota Regional Sustainable Development Partnerships. But fortunately, we're often referred to as the partnerships.
Which is great. It makes it a lot easier so that people don't get confused, especially some of us that help work with you.
Yeah, certainly. And as one of our board of directors, it's just really an honor to have a chance to talk with you more and your viewers about our organization. The University of Minnesota partnerships have been connecting greater Minnesota communities to University of Minnesota research, planning, and design resources since about 1998. And the partnerships really seek to promote innovative techniques and approaches that have helped to seed initiatives such as the clean energy resource teams, the farm to school and farm to institution movements, a lot of the local food hubs or food system movements. Sprout Food Hub based out of Brainerd and connecting with a lot of central Minnesota communities, as well as the Minnesota Water Sustainability Framework and countless sustainable tourism initiatives across Minnesota.
Well, and I know for us in our area right here, one of our projects was dealing with zebra mussels and invasive species with the Pelican River watershed district.
Yes, that was really an exciting and innovative approach to providing videos about informational and awareness videos about aquatic invasive species and the steps everyone can take, be it anglers, recreational boaters, can take to help prevent the spread of aquatic invasive species in all of our lakes and streams.
And, I look at, like right now, we're doing a feasibility study here at Frazee with Joule Energy in relation to a solar wind hybrid project. And the partnership has paying Arnie Kildegard, professor from Morris, to help review and research on this project too.
Yeah, we were really pleased to have the opportunity to help support that and to connect Dr. Kildegard with the communities of Frazee and Audubon to bring some of that additional capacity and expertise to on-the-ground work happening in the communities in order to really move forward an exciting initiative around that wind-solar hybrid. We're looking forward to hear the findings very soon.
Oh, I can hardly wait. I just sometimes wake up at night, when I hear the wind blowing and thinking, power.
Clean power, clean energy, right.
And then, of course, some of the other things we've done in the area, we've worked with the Spirit Lake project in Monaga.
Yes, that was a project from a few years back that was one of those examples where I think the partnerships had the opportunity to provide a little bit of seed funding for an initiative that was able to get off the ground, so to speak, with some of that trail design and work in Monaga and Spirit Lake, and really leverage with that seed funding and that initial startup, really leverage significant additional resources from other regional agencies and organizations, as well as huge support and partnership from the Minnesota DNR. And so a lot of times that's the role that we're able to play, to provide some of that startup or initial seed funding and support some of those U of M faculty or student resources and expertise to help get a project off the ground.
Well, Molly, I appreciate you being on our program, and we're going to take a break here, and we'll be right back with Molly Zins, Director of the Central Region Sustainable Development Partnership out of Brainerd. Welcome back to Spotlight on Frazee. I'm your host, Hank Ledke, and I'm here today with Director Molly Zins from the Central Regional Sustainable Development Partnership with the University of Minnesota Extension out of Brainerd. And Molly, I know we've got some interesting things that we've been doing this year around the state, and it's in conjunction with the Will Seeger Foundation.
Yes, that's right. The partnerships have been really pleased to have the opportunity to co-host a series of climate change convenings all across greater Minnesota with our partners, as you mentioned, Climate Generation, formerly the Will Seeger Foundation. And we're also joined at each of these convenings by Mark Seeley, University of Minnesota climatologist, as he presents and discusses region-specific climate information.
Well, and we listened to him here last year, I believe it was, at the university, and just the statistics that he presented about how many records have been set amazed me.
Yes, certainly. And one of those records that I often hear people refer back to and that really sort of sticks with folks is the significant changes that we're seeing in nighttime temperatures. And that tends to be some of the most rapid increase in temperatures that we're seeing, and that's one of those data points that a lot of people seem to really recall and sticks with them.
And one year we had 3,000-year flood events in the state, including Duluth.
Yes, yeah, I think one of the things we're hearing from a lot of Minnesotans and community partners across greater Minnesota is that the thoughts around how this big issue of a changing environment impacts my day-to-day life through perhaps extreme weather events. Maybe it's an impact on my pocketbook, or maybe it's just an awareness of the change in community planning and community relief resources that we're hearing about or having to help with in our local communities. And it sometimes feels really overwhelming. How do I as an individual address this and or take some action to help address it for my community? And so that's a lot about a lot of what these convenings are about. The purpose is really to discuss those consequences of climate change in our region, and more importantly perhaps to learn about some of those local innovative solutions or strategies our community partners are taking or considering and adopting at their farmstead, their homestead, or the community level in order to address how we live in a changing environment.
And so we're going to have a convening here locally now, and that's going to be where?
Yes, we're really excited about our convening coming up in Detroit Lakes on November 2nd. It will be at the Holiday Inn, and we'll kick off bright and early, 8:30 a.m. with a light breakfast and registration, and we'll be all wrapped up by about noon. And we're really encouraging all community members, anyone from across the region, to attend and join us to hear from statewide and regional experts, local community leaders, local storytellers about how climate change is impacting our community, our work, and our lives. We'll have a chance to also visit with and learn from local resources and organizations that are focusing on energy efficiency, extreme weather support services, sustainability, and a variety of other climate change efforts.
Well, Molly, I really appreciate you being on the program here, and we look forward to continuing working with you and seeing you at the convening.
Thanks so much, Hank. And I do want to just mention, too, that the convenings are free and open to the public. All interested community members are encouraged to attend, and we are requesting advanced registration. So if you'd like to learn more or register, please visit us at climateminnesota.org/Detroit Lakes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hank.
And with that, remember, pet the dog, hug the kids, kiss the wife, and wave at the neighbors. And we'll see you next week on Spotlight on Frazee.